Hey, good afternoon. This is a special little video for my students up in Long Prairie grade. You might think I've forgotten about you, but I haven't. And this video is proof of it. The date is April 2nd, 2020. And let me just say some obvious things. We live in a very different world now than the one that saw me coming up to visit you guys for 6 classes, 3 last fall and 3 this spring. Came up there, tried to get to know you a little bit, tried to do this co-teaching thing for college and the schools. And for me, it all began with fish tacos downtown. And I really had the hope that I would get up there for a 4th time, maybe even a 5th. And the great and serious events obviously have unfolded that have prevented me from doing that. Everything's closed. Everything is canceled and delayed. And here's what I'd like to do this afternoon. I'm just using my iPhone, so just forgive that. I think the principal thing I'd like to do is give you some help with the paper. I've gotten a couple emails from you, and that was fun. And this is just kind of a general reminder. Okay, we talked about this, but let's go over it one more time. And I'm available to you. So that's the main thing I'd like to do. But before I even do that, I just want to make some general comments that I made to my students, about 110 of them, in my 4 classes. I got 2 Comp 2s, an Intro to the Humanities, and Honors Lit, because I'm on the Honors faculty at CLC. And I am a face-to-face teacher. I am an evangelist for what I call actual classes. And I am now taking a shot at becoming at least adequate at online instruction, which I've never had any interest in. And I'm busy because I'm attempting to use everything possible to keep the relationships going with my students. We had a 3-week break, which just sort of blew a hole in the semester. At least at CLC, we've only got 6 weeks to go. And yesterday was my 2nd day attempting synchronous classes with Zoom. It's a Brady Bunch thing if you don't know the program. Students log on, everybody's a little square, and people can only speak one at a time. But I can present through it, I can use the internet through it, and it's been a way of reconnecting to my students. So I'm guessing that the mood in Long Prairie, like every small town in my beloved central Minnesota, is solemn. I'm guessing that you're feeling what everyone in the world is feeling, just this sense of loss. And none of us really know what's next. You could think of yourself as a little spot, a speck on a white sheet of paper. And imagine through that speck is a vertical line, which represents time. And everything to the left of the speck is the irretrievable past. There's no such thing as the present, because 1 hour is sweeping into the next. And every one of us has our face sort of smushed up against a pane of glass that may as well be called what's next, because none of us know. I've got a quick thing I want to run by you. I got an email from Anya Bachman yesterday, who runs Blue Flower Arts in New York, which is where I get most of the poets for Verse Like Water. Had to cancel 2 poetry events with Tina Chang and Adam Zagierski. Sorry I never got into your high school. Good news, I get to keep all the money for next year or beyond. So that's tens of thousands of dollars. It's in my office in unmarked bills for future poetry readings. Anya, I'm worried about her because she lives in New York, and the flu is just burning like a fire there, and she's got a brand new baby, and she just bought this company, the biggest repping company in the country. And yesterday she posted up a comment by a guy named Adam. What is this guy's name? Adam Gopnik, who's been a writer for New Yorker magazine for many years, and he's been writing about the pandemic, the COVID-19 epidemic. And here's what he said. I think this is beautiful, and he gives us kind of 3 options at the end for this extraordinary, unprecedented situation that we're all in. Adam wrote this week, "The final weekend of semi-ordinary life in New York arrived on Friday, the 13th. In the week that followed, New York became a ghost town and a ghost nation on a ghost planet. The gravity and scale of what is happening can overwhelm the details of daily life, in which human beings seek a plateau of normalcy in abnormal times, just as they always have, in blitzes and battles. Nobody has any confidence at all about whether we are seeing the first phases of a new normal, the brief calm before a worse storm, or a wise reaction that may allow, not so horribly long from now, for a renewal of common life. Now, I'm not a betting man. I got personal problems you can't touch, but gambling's a vice I never took up, thankfully. Mainly because I know that if I bought a lottery ticket, I'm so lucky I would win and the money would destroy me. That's how I feel about it. But if I had to bet on which of these scenarios might be most accurately the one we're inhabiting, I would go with a brief calm before a worse storm. I'm not trying to scare any of you. You've got plenty to be worried about and panicked about. But here's my opinion. As the line goes in Shakespeare, hold it no longer. That's Trinculo in The Tempest. This is obviously a historic event. It's happening in the context of a presidential election, so of course it's becoming quite a political event. And it is also an economic event. Most of my students have lost their jobs. We're looking at a complete, total collapse of the global economy. My retirement is being destroyed. And since I have no interest in retirement, I don't think about that very much. Money's just a thing of the world. I'll spill what I think is going on. And maybe a teacher or two has put this idea before you. Whatever your perceptions are about reality, they're meaningless compared with the truth. Nothing matters but the truth. And your truth might be different than mine. And my perception of what's going on, because I'm a Christian, is that we are living in absolutely prophetic events. This is to me, ultimately a supernatural event. I'm not saying it's the end of the world. I don't believe that. But I believe in good and evil. I believe in heaven and hell and all that stuff. And I believe in light and darkness. And I think this is an extraordinary hour where heaven is just letting us stop. Just stop, if you can. And think about what path you're on. And I don't know if I've ever prayed more in my life, but you don't want to hear about any of this stuff, I bet. I bet a couple of you do, but maybe some don't. Probably not. So here's my situation. And you're thinking, what is this guy trying to do? Predict the future? Well, how about this? In my humanities class, we're reading Dante's Paradiso, which was written by Dante Alighieri in the 1300s when a plague was killing every other person in Europe, and there were two popes. Sound familiar? And our project, with the Comp 2s that I'm teaching at Central Lakes College, and the Comp 2 that I'm just sort of co-offering in Long Prairie Grey Eagle, is, let's just cut to it. The theme of this course is the study of great artists in the 20th century who sought beauty in the face of the catastrophic, the tragic, while enduring suffering. They were seeking beauty. Now, my classes are a lot of different things. My classes are about creating community. My classes are about literacy, imaginative literature. My classes are about proliferating empathy. But the ultimate thing that my classes are about, year after year after year, is the seeking of great beauty. Now, I think about that like the Greeks do. Great beauty originates in heaven. That's where it all radiates from. And we do what we can down here on earth to do our best when we want to paint or write a poem or dance or sculpt, or whatever art form we're interested in. And what I've given you is a list, and I'll post the list again in D2L in case you're still up in the air on that. I gave you, or started giving you, a list of great artists in the 20th century who somehow found a way to be artists. So let me pick an artist for the example. It doesn't matter what writer it is. If you pick, for instance, Primo Levi, who's mentioned in the syllabus, you are selecting a writer, a Jew who survived Auschwitz. He ultimately throws himself off a balcony because he couldn't bear the survivor's guilt, but if you pick Primal Levy, like any of the writers or any of the artists, here's the main thing. You need to study that artist, okay? If you pick F. Scott Fitzgerald, if you pick Ernest Hemingway, if you pick Primal Levy, Ayn Rand, no, not Ayn Rand, definitely not her, I misspoke. I meant Hannah Arendt. Uh, the main thing to do is read that writer as best you can. Just about everything's on the internet. Let me know if you get stuck anywhere. I'm a pirate. I'll break the law so you don't have to. Somebody the other day, who did they pick? Somebody picked C.S. Lewis because he got hurt in World War I. Fantastic choice. I didn't even offer that one. Well, pretty quickly I got that student every book by C.S. Lewis that he ever wrote. It just took a few taps of the key. You're going to read the writer and get an understanding of the writer. The three things. Again, you're going to make a claim. Number one, you're going to back the claim up, getting help from other people, and you're going to do a little bit of gathering of other people in a parlor, put them in collision, and try to compass out different perspectives. That's the hardest thing. That's going to be your biggest challenge, negotiating different perspectives. So, I just keep repeating myself. It is much more important to read, for instance, Primal Levy than read about Primal Levy, although I want you to do that too. That is part of it. And then what you're going to do is make a claim. And I was doing my maple syrup the other day, cooking sap out there in my woods, and I tried to come up with an idea that could give everybody a universal thesis, just a suggestion, beginning with the powerful phrase, I believe. And maybe that thesis could serve for everyone and still result in completely different projects, as different as snowflakes. I think a great way to go, given what's going on, as we try to seek beauty in the catastrophic, is to say something thesis-wise that's just as simple as, I believe that Ernest Hemingway's prose is beautiful because. I believe Primal Levy's arguments about Auschwitz are beautiful because. And then you just simply have to back it up. It's mainly about telling Professor Eric about your experience with that writer. It's not a report. It's not just a report. Don't just spew back a bunch of facts. Things matter. It matters where the writer, when they were born, and what kind of person they were, and what town they're from, and where they got educated. But those are just facts. If you just go after facts, you're going to write the same kind of report that you wrote when you were little kids, and you'll get nothing out of the project. Facts matter, but so do ideas. Wrestling with real human ideas, human thoughts. And I hope this makes it a little bit clearer. The way to get to high-quality sources is to go to the CLC webpage, click on, what is that? Yeah, you might even write this down. Sorry, my laptop. I've got a new modem out on the front porch. My wife is making it sit out there for 2 days in a box because of COVID. Here's what you're going to do to get to a few sources. Go for 3 or 4 at least. You're going to go to Campus Life on the CLC webpage, Central Lakes College, my beloved school. You are going to go to Library and Testing Center. And I clicked on that. And then you're going to click on, what the heck? Oh, I'm sorry. They got a big giant COVID thing in the middle. It's just blaring red. You're going to click on electronic databases as your third thing. And I'll put up another vid on these. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to forget about you guys. I would use the first two. Go for Academic Search Premier, although my favorite is JSTOR. Simply enter that writer's name into JSTOR. Click full text. Tick that little box, and that makes sure that every article that you get is going to be the whole thing, a full text article. And after that, just start looking for things that are interesting. You also might want to use more than one search term. You might, if you're going after Hannah Arendt, go Hannah Arendt and the Nuremberg trials. And will take you straight to people who are writing about a book that could be the subject of your entire paper, The Banality of Evil. I think we talked about her, how she was sent by New Yorker magazine to watch the Nuremberg trials, and she just could not believe how ordinary some of these horrific Nazis were. Or, well, yeah, they were horrific because they did horrific stuff, and we are what we do. Go there, get a few sources, print them out, get a marker, annotate them, study them, and that's it. I mean, that's it. Find a writer, become an expert on the writer, get a little help from other people understanding the writer, and then just write a paper about it. It ain't rocket science. It's English, man. You can't be wrong. You can call me at 320-260-4959. If you got an iPhone, if you want to text me, that's a lot better because then I can use all my fingers. I think I already told you this. If you're like an Android person, I love you anyway. But if you text me through an Android, I can't type on my machine, and I'm that sad guy. I'm that sad guy just using my index finger. It's piteous, really. Well, I got to get over to my guest house. I got to record my English major song. I haven't performed it at the college in many years, and there's a call for it. We need a little satire and laughing, and it's going to go up on the CLC webpage, and maybe I'll put it up for you too. You didn't know that I'm an expert guitar player, or that I'm an expert in the martial arts, but I am. I was lying about the martial arts. Long Prairie Gray Eagle, I love you guys, and I miss your tacos, those fish tacos, and I just hope this pandemic goes the way of all pandemics, but I think actually things are going to get a lot more interesting and harder before they get better. And I hope this bug somehow just doesn't get to your home ever. If you're the praying type, sorry to say a religious thing again. If you're the praying type, you better keep doing that. If you're not, probably time to start.